And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Charleston Mayoral Election post-debate coverage. I'm News 2's Brendan Clark, joined now by News 2's Riley Benson. I was lucky enough to host the event, moderator Riley Benson, along with Carolyn Murray. And for the last hour, we heard, Riley, a lot of great subjects that we talked about, issues. I think 7 questions total, but we had a lot of input from them, and that's what we were hoping for, to hear what the candidates had to say on a broad variety of issues.
Well, Brendan, obviously, voters will get their chance to hear where each of these candidates stand on things like development, traffic, crime. We talked about a number of things, drug overdoses, and you get to hear some of the differences and maybe start to align with some of these candidates as they're obviously seeking votes between now and November 7th when they go to the poll.
Yeah, we're a week and a half away, so it's crunch time, I guess, for these candidates,
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is probably about the last chance you're going to get to see all these candidates on one stage, and it's televised across, all of Charleston for everyone to get to see, Brendan.
All right, we're going to bring in some of the candidates right now as we talk to them about the debate coverage that we had. We want to bring in the incumbent now, John Tecklenburg, and we certainly appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you, Riley. Good to see you.
Your thoughts on the coverage tonight, the debate tonight, and the issues covered, certainly covered a broad variety.
Great. Well, thanks for having us. You can count on too, right?
Exactly.
So, I must say, sometimes it's a little frustrating because in 60 seconds, I have so much good stuff I want to share. And
well, this is your chance right now. If you'd like to talk about something maybe we didn't cover that you thought maybe we should have.
Well, I would just like to say, and sometimes you have to talk about our challenges and that we need to work on and solve. But I'm a very positive person, and I believe Charleston is really blessed. And yeah, we got some things to work on, but if you look at the totality of what we're doing as a city government, from a public safety point of view, with our police and firefighters, they're just amazing. The stormwater and resiliency departments, they have over 30 projects going, over $100 million worth of stuff going on right now. We have amazing leadership in those departments and in our affordable housing department as well. Great leadership that I am just honored to work with them to creatively problem solving, try to figure these things out and leave Charleston a better place to meet that vision of a great place for all our families to live and learn and play and raise a family. That's what this is all about.
Mr. Tecklenburg, I think you talked about it. We heard you guys have gotten very familiar with each other. You've been on a number of stages talking about all these issues. How do you feel like you did tonight? Where do you think your performance levels up against your opponents?
I think I did fine. I think everybody had a good night tonight, and it was great to have that discussion of ideas. I'm very positive about getting things done and all the good work that our city government is doing, and the 1,800 employees that we have, all the way down to our environmental services, and it's just a great organization to lead, along with our citizens. Listening to our citizens is a big job of the mayor. I feel like I'm a mayor with big ears and listen to the ideas and aspirations of our citizens to help lead our city forward to a place where, as I mentioned, families can thrive. Yes, we're a growing community. Thankfully, our economy is very vibrant. It's very vibrant. And we have some growing pains, but we're working on all those issues.
Which is the biggest one? Real quickly, as we got to get the other candidates in here. What is the biggest issue?
So the biggest issue living day to day is public safety. And that's why I'm so pleased that we've been able to increase our police and fire budgets every year. We provided the best forensics facility of any department in the state of South Carolina. Violent crime rates are down in the city. Drug and gun arrests are actually up, and that's a good thing. We're getting drug dealers off of the street and illegal guns off the street. That's the number one thing every day. Long-term, dealing with the flooding and sea level rise is an important number one long-term issue we're addressing.
All right, Mayor Tecklenburg, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, bringing in William Cogwell now, another candidate from tonight's mayoral debate. We certainly appreciate you joining us. You can stand right over here if you'd like, and we appreciate you joining us right now. An hour talking about a lot of big issues right now. Anything you think that you'd like to add that maybe we didn't hit on that you think is important to the voter to know about you and your vision for the city of Charleston?
Well, I think we've got a lot of opportunities for the city, particularly when it comes to how and where we're growing and how to grow smartly. Union Pier comes to mind, Sumar Street comes to mind. Those are two examples of things that I think have been a bit of a mess when it comes to how they've been handled. It's been all reactive versus proactive from the city's perspective. And again, it's something where I think you really need leadership and you need vision and somebody that understands how to put something together in a pragmatic way that can make our city a better place.
And Mr. Cogwell, you bring up the Sumar Street project. Let's talk about it because we didn't really get into it tonight's debate. So what's your stance on it? What's your vision for the Sumar Street project?
I have a pretty bold vision for it. I think that the city's been looking at too narrow of a focus. They've been really focusing on just the 3 acres that it currently owns at the very point at the suicide merge. And I'm looking at a much bigger picture and redeveloping the whole 35 acres. And I think that can be done in a very fiscally responsible way, in a way that really adds a lot of character to the neighborhood, brings a lot of local businesses, brings affordable housing, brings stormwater, brings sidewalks, brings a larger park than what's being proposed, and again, all for a cheaper price tag. I know it can be done because I've done it before, and I'm excited to bring that kind of expertise and experience to Charleston. Think Avondale with the Coburg cow, you know?
Yeah, we knew you'd bring up the Coburg cow. A lot of undecided voters out there, Mr. Cogwell. What makes you stand above everyone else here, the candidates that would make you be their vote?
Again, I have a lot of respect for the people that I've been running against. We've got to know each other pretty well, so I wish them all second best. But I think I have the experience and the expertise, again, but both the public and private sector side on actually being able to get things done, particularly when it comes to working with other government entities, because that's going to be so critical when it comes to addressing the funding on things like affordable housing, on things like infrastructure, on things like flooding. So I'm excited to bring that to City Hall.
All right. Mr. Cogwell, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Our next candidate coming in, Deborah Gam. We certainly appreciate it. Good. How are you doing?
Of course. Good seeing you.
Yeah. Good. Your thoughts on the debate, what we saw here, what we heard here. We did cover a variety of good topics. Anything else you wanted to hit on that maybe you think needed to be discussed more in your quest to be the mayor of Charleston?
Well, yes, those topics were fantastic. One thing I would have wanted to address more is the importance of diversity, equality, inclusion, and also fairness. And that's something I will do as the mayor of Charleston, looking at city government, city employees, making sure that there is a survey to determine what is working, what is not working, and then letting them know as mayor, this is what is expected from you as a city employee. And then your interactions with the public to treat people with respect and civility.
What isn't working? You said what is working. What, in your mind, what isn't working right now?
Well, these are city employees that I would have an anonymous survey for them to determine what is working and what is not working as a city employee. For city government, there needs to be someone who will have this clear, comprehensive plan for the city, all of those different areas. I mentioned west of the Ashley, James Island, parts of James Island, Johns Island, Daniel Island, and the peninsula. Is so key to have that plan and reach into others, reach for others to be a part of that decision making. And that's what I will do. Always a collaborator, working with individuals, working with associations to making sure they are at the table, and I will listen. I've always been a listener. I've worked with different types of people all of my life.
And Ms. Gam, as you're going around knocking on doors, talking to constituents, what is the biggest issue they think is facing them in this election on the ballot?
It's development and overbuilding. I hear that from everyone. So again, stopping, taking a deep breath. Where are we? Where do we need to go? That's what is necessary. And as mayor, I will have that vision along with everyone else, and the energy and enthusiasm I experience as an attorney, as a law professor, working with laws, changing laws in order to bring up the quality of life of all our citizens and making sure residents come first. I will do that as mayor. And I will, again, listen, see people, and invite them to the table and make sure that they share in that vision of our beautiful city, making sure it stays beautiful and it doesn't become this huge, overdeveloped, overbuilt city without our marshes and our creeks and our rivers and access to them. And representing everyone. I will represent all.
Keeping that charm. Deborah Gam, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Mik Gatson, come on in here. Thank you very much for joining us here in this post-debate coverage. Did want to talk to you a little bit about, we seem to be talking a lot about the peninsula in Charleston. Come on in here for just a quick step. And you brought up the fact West Ashley. You think it's underrepresented. What can we do, or what can you do if you're the mayor to make sure West Ashley isn't forgotten?
Well, we need to reinvest in some of the plans that have already been initiated. There have been tons of plans, the West Ashley plan and the Sumar Street, where the folks have, my fellow residents and neighbors have weighed in on what they'd like to see from the city. So I'd love to see more access to the public, more of the public weighing in, more of a democratic way of policy planning. I think West Ashley does tend to fall by the wayside because, of course, tourism and other factors, but it's time for West Ashley to receive some top-tier treatment.
And Ms. Gatson, you talk about being the only candidate on the stage that is a renter. We heard about affordable housing and the issue that's facing the city. So more specifically, kind of dive into how you would want to tackle that and maybe make housing more affordable in the city.
Yeah, I think there are things we can do. I know it's taboo to talk about things like rent control, but we do need to stabilize rent. We also need to hold landlords accountable. We have a lot of absentee, neglectful landlords who not only neglect properties, but they also run roughshod all over residents like myself. I'm a renter. Last year, my rent went up $400 in 1 year. Someone can change that, and I believe the next leader of Charleston needs to address things like that.
If you are the next leader of Charleston, day one in office, what's priority number one?
I want to make sure that we're investing in green infrastructure. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a co-chair with the Friends of Gadsden Creek. That means I want to revitalize the Gadsden Creek. I want to show the rest of the world, the rest of the city, what it looks like to invest in green infrastructure, to actually revitalize a natural greenland space or natural marshland space, and what it can do for our environment and do for to help us with the climate crisis. Yeah.
Mik Gatson, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Clay Middleton coming in right now as we continue our coverage right now. Clay, we certainly appreciate you joining us and your thoughts overall on what was said tonight and some of the issues that we tackled and maybe some you think were important that maybe you'd like to expand upon.
Yeah, I think for tonight there were some issues as relates to Union Pier, West Ashley, and true infrastructure for our city, not just the development, but our infrastructure, the things that you don't even see, as well as climate. I thought we would get more into some of those issues, but now is a good opportunity to elaborate.
You know, Mr. Middleton, I want to ask you about the seawall because I think you have maybe a mixed stance on this issue. So kind of talk to us more specifically about your stance on it and what you want to see come from that vision.
Sure. The current process must continue. So during this process of the PED being looked at if you're going to do the wall or not, there's still some questions that have to be answered, which is why are the phases for the natural barriers are in low-income black communities? That should not be the case. The other part of that is you have to answer the question, how do we pay for it? Where are we going to come up with the approximately $1 million to pay for the other half of this? And I think there's some people that have not been a part of that decision-making process that need to be. So the process needs to continue, and these other things we need to also tackle. And as mayor of the city of Charleston, those are some things that I would do.
It is just a week and a half away until Election Day. People can vote early also. Right. Getting down to crunch time for you and all these candidates. Your message right now to that undecided voter who may be thinking, hey, is this my guy or not?
Well, if you like what you got, I'm not your person. Yeah, but if you expect more and want more and deserve more from City Hall and your mayor, I have something tangible to offer. I think it's very important that we elevate our thinking. Good enough is not good enough. And we have left a lot of resources on the table. We have a limited vision as well as a lack of bold servant leadership in City Hall. And as mayor of the city of Charleston, we will restore duty, pride, honor, and integrity back to City Hall. And that's what I would do as mayor of the city of Charleston.
All right. Mr. Middleton, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Middleton. Clay Middleton, one of the candidates running for the Charleston mayor. And the sixth candidate we are bringing in right now, Peter Shayed. We appreciate it. You joining us right now.
Thank you.
Long history on city council right here. So you've seen how things work. You see things that don't work. In your mind, what can you do as the mayor to put your plan into place to make sure things do work?
Well, all the other contenders who are running for this office don't have the level of experience and vision that I have. I've been tackling local issues for the past 8 years. I created the Stormwater Department, a Budget Ad Hoc Committee, and the West Ashley Revitalization Commission. So I've been dealing with these local issues for the past 8 years. I know where the soft spots are and the hard spots are. And from day one, we will change the trajectory of the city to make sure that we are doing things for the citizens of our community.
Mr. Shade, I want to give you a chance to kind of weigh in on the Sumar Street
Yes.
project. It didn't come up tonight, so give us your vision. Obviously, this has been a hot topic at the city.
Well, so you have to remember one thing. The city of Charleston owns what we call the Sumar Street, and across the street is a private development. Those folks are ready to invest $150 million in a redo of that shopping area. It's in private hands. They're waiting for us to make a move. And I finally got City Council to approve a plan to develop Sumar Street, which will include a cultural center, an area for neighborhood associations to meet. I'm waiting, and we have to get rid of the mayor because he's not going ahead to promote that plan that council approved. So we got a plan, and it's an incremental plan, but it's a start. And once you get the ball rolling on that, it's that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Then we can add retail space to that. We can then partner with the folks across the street who own the private land, and we can start the revitalization effort over in this particular town. Remember, this is a gateway to the city of Charleston. This is a gateway to the most historic site in the state of South Carolina. And we've been punching around with this thing way too long, and we run into headwinds with our current administration. But we did have a plan passed by City Council. We just need to follow up on it.
Biggest issue facing the people that you want to represent that you think that you would need to tackle?
It's overdevelopment,
Yeah.
and and public safety would be a close second to that, and then flooding would be another issue as well. Listen, I'm not a developer. Mr. Cogwell is a developer. He had an ample opportunity to address Sumar Street well before he got into this election, and he decided not to do that. Now it's become a political football. But we have to address development in a very smart way in making sure that we follow the plans that the city already has on the book, like Plan West Ashley. But we need to make sure that whatever plans that we impose and what projects we approve do not do harm to the character of our local neighborhoods. That's something we just need to be doing on the front end. I'm a former federal prosecutor. I understand public safety. King Street's a mess. You go out there tonight, Friday night or Saturday night, and the entertainment district, you see the number of police officers are out there. It's a scary situation, and we need to clean that up. And our current mayor is not addressing that issue as well.
Peter Shade, appreciate your time. Thank you very
all
much.
Well done. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
one of 6 candidates here running for Charleston mayor. We've talked to them all, and Riley, as we've heard them during the hour-long debate, we heard them during this debate coverage of the post-debate. Yep. Voters have a difficult choice to make.
Well, you got 6 different options, right, and 6 different opinions on how you tackle some of the biggest issues that are facing the city of Charleston moving forward. You know, overdevelopment was the biggest issue that everyone was concerned about in our poll, and certainly flooding is going to be a big one, and anything as far as the opioid crisis is another big one too, Brennan.
Yep, a lot more to be decided. Of course, we'll be continuing our coverage for the next week and a half leading up to Election Day on November 7th. So very big decision, but the biggest one is for you to vote. It matters. We appreciate you staying here with us for the Charleston Mayoral Debate and the post-debate coverage. We'll see you again tomorrow.